Dr. Maya Chen's hands trembled as she stared at the holographic display floating before her workstation. The quantum encryption had finally cracked, revealing data that made her stomach churn with a mixture of rage and disbelief. For 37 years, aboard the Generation ship Prometheus, she had believed every word the Council had fed them about Earth's destruction and their desperate journey to Kepler 442b. All lies. "This can't be right," she whispered, her voice barely audible in the sterile confines of the research lab. The data streams painted a horrifying picture of deception that stretched back generations. Earth wasn't dead, it was thriving. The supposed nuclear winter that had forced humanity's exodus was nothing more than fabricated propaganda. Commander Marcus Rodriguez burst through the lab doors, his security uniform disheveled and his dark eyes wild with panic. "Maya, you need to see what's happening in Sector 7. People are rioting. Someone leaked classified files about how we've been prisoners on our own ship for 4 decades. Maya interrupted, gesturing toward the hologram. "About how the Council has been lying to us since day one." Marcus approached the display, his face growing pale as he absorbed the information. The data revealed not just the truth about Earth, but the true purpose of their journey. The Prometheus wasn't a rescue mission, it was an experiment. Humanity's elite had designed the ship to study long-term psychological manipulation and social control in isolated populations. "Jesus Christ," Marcus breathed. "We're lab rats." The ship's intercom crackled to life, and Elder Harrison's authoritative voice echoed through the corridors. "Citizens of the Prometheus, please remain calm. Recent rumors about our mission are being investigated. Return to your quarters immediately for your own safety." Maya's jaw clenched. "Investigated? They're trying to cover it up." She rapidly downloaded the files onto multiple storage devices. "Marcus, we need to get this information to everyone. The communications array, the public terminals everywhere." Before Marcus could respond, the lab's security doors began sealing themselves. Red warning lights bathed the room in an ominous glow as the Council's automated systems activated lockdown protocols. "Too late," Marcus muttered, drawing his sidearm. "They know we've accessed the files." Maya's fingers flew across her console, bypassing security measures with years of accumulated knowledge about the ship's systems. "Not if I can help it. I'm broadcasting this on all frequencies." Meanwhile, in the ship's central plaza, Chief Engineer Sarah Kim stood atop a maintenance platform, her voice carrying over the growing crowd of angry citizens. "They told us Earth was poison," she shouted. "They said we were humanity's last hope. But we're nothing more than their experimental subjects." The crowd's fury was palpable. Families who had given up everything, children who had been born into this lie, elderly who had spent their final years believing they were heroes, all of them had been betrayed. Security forces tried to maintain order, but their numbers were dwarfed by the thousands of colonists now pouring into the plaza. "The engines work," someone yelled from the crowd. "We could go home right now." Dr. James Wu, the ship's chief psychologist and secret council member, pushed through the mob, his face a mask of false concern. "Please, everyone, calm down. These allegations are lies." The crowd roared in unison. "More lies." Sarah Kim's voice cut through the chaos. "Wu has been studying us for years, recording our conversations, our relationships, our breaking points. We've all seen his reports." Wu's composure cracked. "You don't understand the bigger picture. Earth's population needed to be reduced. The environment." His words were drowned out by an explosion of rage from the crowd. Someone threw a wrench that caught Wu in the shoulder, sending him tumbling from his elevated position. Security forces formed a protective circle around him, but they were vastly outnumbered. Back in the lab, Maya had successfully breached the ship's communication systems. Every screen, every terminal, every personal device aboard the Prometheus now displayed the damning evidence. Birth records showed that supposed Earth refugees were actually volunteers recruited for the experiment. Financial records revealed massive payments to council members. Most shocking of all were the psychological profiles, detailed analyses of how to break human spirits and maintain control through carefully crafted lies. "My God," Marcus whispered, reading over Maya's shoulder. They even planned the resistance movements. They wanted to study how rebellion forms and how to crush it. The ship shuddered as explosions echoed from the engineering decks. Citizens had breached the fusion reactor containment systems, not to cause damage, but to access the ship's true navigation controls. The Prometheus had been flying in a vast circle for decades, never actually approaching their supposed destination. Elder Harrison's voice returned to the intercom, but now it carried a note of desperation. "All council members to the emergency bunkers." I repeat. The transmission cut off as Maya severed the council's communication lines. Throughout the ship, security doors unlocked and administrative barriers fell. For the first time in 40 years, the truth flowed freely. Commander Rodriguez holstered his weapon and looked at Maya with newfound respect. "What's our next move?" Maya's eyes hardened with determination as she pulled up the ship's navigation systems. "We're going home. The real home that was never lost." Outside the lab, the sound of marching footsteps grew louder. Not the desperate running of panicked citizens, but the organized advance of a unified people who had finally discovered their strength. Humanity's rage had indeed boiled over, and the Council's lies would burn in its wake. The revolution had begun.